You're Marcus, a 23-year-old knight in 1347, and you've just inherited your grandfather's legendary fortress. This isn't just any castle, it's a massive stone monument that struck fear into enemies for generations. You're thinking you've hit the medieval jackpot, right? Dead wrong. It's December, blizzards are ravaging the countryside, and you're about to discover that your dream inheritance is actually a 50-room death trap designed to freeze you solid. Here's the terrifying truth nobody warns you about. Medieval castles were basically giant, stone tombs with delusions of grandeur. Those intimidating walls, 12 feet of solid stone that absorbed cold like a sponge and radiated it back at you all horror night long. The majestic windows, ice-glazed death portals that let in Arctic air faster than you could say hypothermia. And that grand fireplace you're picturing. It's a ravenous wood-devouring beast that could consume an entire forest and still leave you chattering like a skeleton in a windstorm. But Marcus wasn't about to become another frozen noble found dead in his own bed. What he discovered next would revolutionize castle living forever. First crisis. His first night nearly killed him. Marcus woke up with frost literally forming on his breath inside his bedroom. His water had turned to ice. His servants were finding icicles hanging from interior walls. This wasn't just uncomfortable, people were actually dying from the cold. In castles just like this one, that's when Marcus declared war on winter itself. He transformed his castle into a medieval inferno complex. We're talking about fireplaces so massive they looked like dragon mouths carved into stone. These weren't cute decorative features, they were industrial-grade heating furnaces that devoured 150 logs per week each. Marcus basically turned his servants into a medieval logging company, with teams of men hauling timber like their lives depended on it. Because they absolutely did. But here's where Marcus almost gave up. Even with fires blazing like the gates of hell, the heat refused to travel. Medieval physics was brutal. Warm air rose straight up and escaped through the roof, while cold air hugged the floors like a frozen blanket of death. Marcus realized he was essentially heating the sky while living in an icebox. That's when genius struck. Marcus created the world's first residential heat distribution network. He didn't just have one fireplace, he installed strategic heating stations throughout his castle, creating warm zones connected by heated corridors. Suddenly, moving through his castle became like hopping between islands of survival in an ocean of cold. The bedroom breakthrough was legendary. Marcus didn't just upgrade his sleeping arrangements, he engineered a medieval survival capsule. Picture this insane setup: a mattress stuffed with down from over 100 waterfowl, so thick it was like sleeping on a cloud made of warmth. Then came the blanket fortress, 7 layers of heavy wool quilts stacked so high that actually getting into bed required climbing equipment. But the real innovation: hot cold bed warmers. Marcus had servants slide metal pans filled with glowing coals between his sheets before bedtime, creating the world's first heated mattress. One wrong roll and you'd wake up with singed nightclothes, but it beat waking up frozen solid. The 4-poster bed with heavy curtains wasn't about style, it was engineering. Once those thick drapes closed, Marcus had created his own personal greenhouse effect, trapping body heat and creating a microclimate that could be 20 degrees warmer than the rest of the room. The clothing revolution was equally extreme. Forget fashion. Marcus dressed for war against winter every single day, starting with specially woven linen undergarments designed to trap air close to the skin, then layering wool tunics that required fleece from 5 different sheets. The outer layer was where it got serious: fur-lined cloaks made from multiple fox pelts that were basically wearable sleeping bags. Marcus looked like a walking teddy bear, but he was a warm walking teddy bear who could survive while others froze. Then came the discovery that changed everything: livestock heaters. This sounds insane, but Marcus figured out that farm animals were basically biological furnaces. One cow could raise the temperature by 10 degrees in its immediate area. So Marcus literally moved select livestock into his castle during winter months. His great hall became part living room, part barn, and 100% survival strategy. The architectural mastery was mind-blowing. Those intimidating castle walls weren't just for defense, they were massive thermal storage systems. During sunny days, the stone absorbed heat like enormous batteries, then slowly released that warmth throughout the night. Marcus learned to work with his castle's natural thermal properties. Instead of fighting against them, windows got this strategic treatment too. Instead of large heat-bleeding openings, Marcus kept them small and positioned them perfectly to capture maximum sunlight while minimizing cold air infiltration. These weren't design flaws, they were precision-engineered heat management systems. Here's where Marcus became a medieval party legend. He discovered that human bodies were the ultimate renewable heating source. Winter gatherings weren't just social events, they were survival strategies. Pack 60 people into a great hall, add vigorous dancing, heated food, and passionate conversations, and you've created a human-powered furnace that could raise room temperature by 15 degrees. Each person generated roughly 100 watts of heat, like walking light bulbs. Marcus started hosting epic winter festivals that lasted for days, turning survival into celebration. Musicians played energetic songs that got people moving. Storytellers told dramatic tales that got hearts racing, and everyone contributed to the communal heating effort. The ultra-wealthy nobles like Marcus went nuclear with hypocaust systems, ancient Roman underfloored heating technology that circulated warm air through hollow spaces beneath floors and inside walls. Imagine walking on heated floors in the 14th century while everyone else was stepping on ice-cold stone. Marcus basically had medieval radiant heating while others lived in frozen hell. Kitchen warfare became crucial. Those slow-cooking stews and roasts weren't just meals, they were heating systems that kept fires burning for hours. Heated cooking stones were repurposed as drink warmers and hand heaters, creating the world's first portable heating program. The kitchen became so consistently warm that it served as the castle's unofficial gathering center. The roofing breakthrough was architectural genius. Thatched roofs weren't primitive, they were sophisticated insulation systems. Thick layers of straw and reed created air pockets that trapped rising warm air and blocked incoming cold. These organic climate control systems could last 60 years and actually got better with age. But Marcus's ultimate revelation was systematic thinking. Medieval heating wasn't about single solutions, it was about creating integrated survival networks. Massive fireplaces provided base heat, strategic architecture stored and distributed warmth, livestock added biological heating, social gatherings generated human power, luxury bedding created personal heat zones, and ingenious clothing provided mobile warmth. The transformation was incredible. Marcus turned a frozen stone death trap into a warm medieval paradise that became legendary throughout the region. Other nobles traveled from hundreds of miles away just to experience his heating innovations. While neighboring castles were losing residents to hypothermia and cold-related deaths, Marcus's fortress became known as the warmest castle in the kingdom. He didn't just survive winter, he conquered it so completely that people began calling him Marcus, the warm-hearted. The legacy lived on for centuries. Marcus's heating innovations spread throughout medieval Europe, saving countless lives and revolutionizing castle living forever. He proved that with brilliant strategy, relentless innovation, and systematic thinking, humans could not only survive but thrive in the most hostile environments. His story became legend, inspiring generations of builders, engineers, and survivalists who understood that sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought with swords and shields, but with intelligence, creativity, and an absolute refusal to surrender to the elements. Ready to discover more incredible historical survival stories that reveal the brilliant innovations our ancestors used to overcome impossible challenges? Hit that subscribe button and join the community of history enthusiasts uncovering the amazing secrets that shaped human civilization.